Good evening. Welcome to another edition of African Americans Ain't African, the talk think show that proves without a shadow of a doubt that the so-called African American didn't find his way to America in the trunk of a ship. I'm your host, the Indigenous One, and uh, we're not gonna uh, we're not gonna waste a lot of time this evening. We're gonna get straight to the point. We're gonna talk about something that's really disturbing to the African American community, and something that we're gonna have to come to grips with and deal with. Let me let this helicopter pass. Okay, sorry about that. Um, it's some things that we have to deal with in reality that seems to keep the African American locked in the trance that he is in, and that's with dealing with our emotions. If you've been in the group African Americans Ain't African on Facebook, you'll notice that we post stuff in there. Of course, we post heritage stuff, but we also post things in there to make people think about what is happening to them. Because as each of you listening all know, the African American doesn't think about anything. He waits for somebody tells him what to do, then he does it. And I want to bring this up because this is the reality that's going on in our community that a lot of our youth are succumbing to. We have a guy in the group, Shay Davis, posts a lot of good stuff to get us to look at things a different way. And this week, he posted something on Tupac. It got a lot of people upset. And I was noticing, why were we getting upset? Why do we get upset over idols, over people that we are shown on TV? I mean, why are we so emotionally attached to these people? No, I've never met Tupac. I don't know him. He, I've never met Serena Williams. I don't know. I've never met none of those people who they show us on TV. Being that TV is the gateway for most African Americans thinking. African Americans don't think the TV does for them. It just broadcasts what they want the African American, how they want the African American to be, and that's how the African American is. So I want to explain this in a way that, I mean, this brother makes a hell of a lot of sense. Unfortunately, we get emotional about it and we don't think logically about it. And when I think logically about it, here, this is what I mean. We've all heard of the group Black Panthers. For anybody who doesn't think, everybody should already know that Black Panther was a CIA, FBI, whoever front. The Black Panthers weren't created themselves. They it was a group created for them. All you have to do is look at the group and look at the players in the group. That group is broadcast out to the masses, and we are made to think what these cats are done. What have the Black Panthers done? The Black Panthers was started by a bunch of women in Lowndes County, Alabama. The name was taken from them by Stokely Carmichael and transported to Oakland, California, and this group started. And if you look at the people who started the group, I mean, really, come on. These things go on too many times in our community for us not to know nothing. So with all these people that are put on TV, with all these entertainers and idols and people that we're given, these people are given to us so we can be led in a certain direction. So the two examples I want to give simply is, and I don't care about the people, the entertainers, the athletes, I don't care about them. But what they do, they put in front of us to make the whole group think a certain way. How we keep missing that boat, I don't know. So a good example is Colin Kaepernick. Who cares about Colin Kaepernick? We get emotional. Oh, he's the new Malcolm X. He's not. And how do we say stuff like that? And what these entertainers and what these idols do, they get in our mind and they control the way we think about life. That's why you see the African American basically back in the 1800s, by the way we think. By the way, all the foreigners come over here and pimp you on your homeland, and you just shake your head and ask to be patted on the head because no thinking is ever really done. We just get caught up in these idols. I call it idol worship, and we worship these people like they've done something. When you see your community is raggedy, one of the things I want to point out, and this is to the people who listening to the South. So if you go to the South from Charlotte, North Carolina, Columbia, South Carolina, Atlanta, Georgia, Birmingham, Alabama, New Orleans, Louisiana, Montgomery, Alabama, Memphis, Tennessee. If you go to those places, one of the things that you'll know is that they play news all through the morning. And ask people this, and you may know this. Every day on those news channels, black men are dying 5, 10 a day. People who pay attention to that, people who pay attention to it will know. The majority of us, we don't even pay attention to it because we're paying attention to this idol worship. It's like a show that I always talk about. This show that came on years ago called The Wire. Why everybody thought that TV show was great. And when I finally saw it 10 years after it came out, and all they was doing was killing young black men, and people were saying this was the best show in the world. I knew that people could miss that show. Now, how is it that African Americans can't miss a show when their sons are being killed weekly? So what we've come to do is to worship a death culture. And we're the ones who push for it. We clap for it. We clap. We're happy when something bad happens to us. We like that shit. And we can't seem to think that, and we go to people like Tupac and Serena and all these other people and act like there's something great in the community. And when you ask how, this is when the African America starts to lose their mind and their emotions get in the way. How? I mean, how? How is Tupac a great person? He's the one who started the pan sagging thing that looks ridiculous now, that makes it, that makes all these young men a target. Nobody ever brings that up. He's the one who had thug written across his stomach. Now everybody walks around here thinking they a thug, and we're supposed to give kudos for that? For real, Ka? Really? These are the people we worship. These are the people that the youth worship. So when they turn out like that and wind up getting killed, we have nothing to say. That's a problem. So this idol worship that we love it because we can't even worship ourselves. We can't even idolize our mothers. We can't even idolize our fathers, our grandmothers, our grandfathers, the one that brought us forward to here right now. You don't hear nobody talk about them. All you hear is people talk about these people that are flashed before you on TV. That's a problem. So I just want to let all the people know this. All this idol worship, all this loving people who you never met, all these stars. I mean, look at Michael Jackson. He's a god. They made him a god. And he don't even produce children that look like himself. Yet you love him. About time you're off this planet, Michael Jackson will be white. Keep that in mind. By the time you're off this planet, and the babies that are being born today, when they grow up, Michael Jackson will be a white boy, and the proof that they'll show you that he's a white boy, they'll show you his kids. And who do we have to thank for that? We have us to thank because we just love anything anybody shows us. And it's a problem. So all you idol worship, this is for you. This isn't for the people who look at it and see it for what it is. The thing is to keep the indigenous people keep their minds on lock. You are not to think about anything. You're not even supposed to be thinking. You let the TV do that for you, and you let these people who you idolize, these people that they put in front of you idolize them, and they control your thinking. How we don't know this is beyond me. So that's what I wanted to just get off my chest right now, because I'm seeing that. I mean, we're really into these people. And when you look at what the people have created, it's nothing but total destruction. And it makes it impossible for us to move forward. So listen, I just want to say that I know it's Friday, it's the weekend. I don't want to take up everybody's time, but think about that idol worshiping. Start worshiping the people who brought you forth. Start worshiping your mother who could have aborted you instead of bringing you up in this fucked up system that we live in. Start worshiping the people who looked after you, who made sure you were all right, made sure you were okay. And don't say, nobody looked after me. That's a lie. Indigenous people look after their children and they try to give them the wisdom what they do have, because many of us, we like to get into these groups. We like to be Greek. We like to be Moor. We like to be Christian. We like to be Elks. We like to be all this stuff, but we don't like to be what nature created. And that's us. We like to follow all these ideologies that we didn't create. That's a mistake. So that's all I wanted to say. You guys have a good weekend. I'll be talking to you guys soon. Peace out.